Constitution and things in this country have been pretty bad for a lot of people that were not white. This is still the greatest country on this earth. And while things are not how we want them to be, they are better than they have been. And they are getting better because you have a black president. And if it wasn't for mentalities changing about how they see this society, that man would not be your president today. Because somebody somewhere had to say, I don't see it the way I used to see it. Because if they still saw it the way they saw it, he would not be president today.
All right, we're going to let Will say something.
Yeah, first of all, I'd like to say that when we're analyzing a financial or monetary economic system, we cannot start with the ideology of Western civilization, like the sister was saying over here. The world got its culture from ancient Africa, not Greece, not Rome, not even the Persians. They all stole their economic systems and policies from the ancient Africans, which nobody gives credit to, because Africa is supposed to be a bunch of black idiots hanging there to wait for white people to come and save us from our ignorance. And that's definitely not the case. We were teaching white people philosophy, economics, religion, and everything else while they were still living in the Dark Ages in Europe. So if we're going to give an analysis of a financial system, we should start not just to appease people and make people feel good. I'm not about that. I don't give a crap how you feel about me. The bottom line is, if we're going to make an analytical observation of anything, let's deal with the truth of the matter. The truth of the matter is that this system that was built, it was built off of the ideals and philosophies of ancient Africa, and then it moved forward with the Persians, the Romans, and the Greeks learned from there, even though they took credit for it. Okay, that's the first analogy. So if we're going to have an intense, real discussion, we need to deal with the root of any discussion, else we're going to find ourselves talking about Democrats or Republicans. I can't stand either one of them, liberals or whatever. I don't give a crap about none of them, because my perception is this, that they've all been financed by the bankers anyway. When the bankers financed the first socialist revolution, the Bolshevik Revolution in Russia in 1917, the bankers are the ones that, in this country, created a central bank in this country in 1913. The bankers have been the central point and the decision makers for politicians today and ever since the inception of this country, and almost since the inception of time. So when you start to babble about Republicans and Democrats and liberals and all this nonsense, to me it's pure nonsense, because you're both sitting up here defending a system which I can't stand. I don't believe this system is fair to anybody except for the rich and those bankers, international bankers who finance the system and dictate the policy of your so-called black president. A black president don't mean nothing. A black president, was the white president or a black president, he's financed by corporate America. He's financed by the corporate America. He's financed by the international bankers, and he brought the same people in there that were fired, that should have been fired from Goldman Sachs and other corrupt organizations. They brought him in there, and he brought the same policy with him that all the other presidents did. There's no difference between Bush and Obama, to me. There's no difference at all. Just that one's the white man, one's the black man. That's about it. Because their policies were pretty much the same. They're being dictated by the bankers and the corporate people who put them in office in the first place.
Well, I guess I'm being very shallow about this, because when I look at it, I see it like this. I financed Barack Obama because I gave to his campaign. And I put him in office because I voted for him. Now you can see who else
put him in office. International bankers put him in office.
I let you talk.
Hey, Will.
No, you actually did. You did.
So, for me, it's a situation of where you can see the macro, but I'm going to see the micro. Because if it wasn't for my vote, and it wasn't for my money, he may not be the president. So my vote counted. And that is why my president is not George W. Bush.
I'm glad that people believe this whole electoral process, because this man evidently does not know anything about the electoral process in this country. Your vote doesn't mean a damn thing, because they got you thinking that you have some type of power. You don't have no power. You know, a vote that you cast didn't mean nothing to them. They were put in office who they wanted to, regardless of who you voted for.
So when you
they just wanted a black man because.
Oh,
excuse me?
When you woke up this morning, why'd you wake up? To not have hope? What you're saying to me, you can't do shit. You just wake up and let the world tell you what the hell to do.
But
and then you talk like that. Is that what you're saying?
When you gave your analysis of the financial system and you didn't even incorporate or include ancient Africa, once again you said you started the same thing with politics. You leaving out a big segment, a huge segment of a very important point. Like you left out Africa, which is the financial system of the world are based on the ancient Africa, the Egyptians in specific.
But what you're saying is we have no control. So what's your
root of the problem? The root of the problem is the international bankers that dictate policy. The Rothschild family said this: I don't care who makes your laws. Let me control the finances of any government, and I'll control the policies. That's what the Rothschild said right there in Europe when they were invading this country in 1776 when they created a war. This war didn't just happen because people wanted to be free. This was a war that was engineered by the bankers, the international bankers. That every war since the 1776 was engineered by the international bankers, and they got you thinking of Republican and Democrat and all this other nonsense.
So what do you think of? Do you go and pray to the bank?
No, I fight against the banks. That's what I fight against. I fight against the banks. I don't fight against no political party, Democrat or Republican. I could care less. I know that the bankers have more power than any politician.
All right, excuse me. Let's this guy right here say something. I think he has a comment.
Crowley, you're absolutely right, because it was already